Hey, Popcorn fam. The horror you've been waiting for is back. Today, we're diving deep into James Wan's chilling Conjuring universe. Specifically, the final chapter, The Conjuring, The Last Rites. This story is adapted from what is said to be the final case before the Warrens retired, and arguably the most terrifying and powerful demon they've ever faced in their ghost-hunting career. And here's the kicker. This terrifying story is based on a real-life case that shocked the world. Don't forget to tag your scaredy cat friends to watch this with you. The story begins in 1986 with the Perron family in Pennsylvania. Something strange was about to happen. An elderly relative was heading downstairs when a mysterious force suddenly shoved her down the steps. The family quickly found her and rushed her to the hospital. This entire scene was witnessed by Father Gordon, who was visiting. He immediately asked, "What exactly is going on with this family?" The matriarch, Carolyn Perron, immediately began telling the father about their recent encounters. The Perrons, a family of 8, had always lived in this narrow but cozy house. Though not wealthy, their life was happy. Until the day their second daughter, Christine, celebrated her 18th birthday. The grandparents had found an antique mirror at a second-hand market and gave it to her as a gift. From that moment on, strange things began to stack up. As soon as the gift was opened, the family dog suddenly started barking frantically at the mirror, as if it saw something terrifying staring back. But everyone was too busy celebrating to notice. Right after the candles were blown out, and Christine had just made a wish, the candles suddenly extinguished. Everyone thought Christine's older sister, Andrea, was playing a prank. But the very next second, the entire ceiling collapsed, injuring the young April below. Soon after, the mother, Carolyn, soon realized something was deeply wrong at home. While doing laundry, she often felt a presence watching her from the shadows. She also found the phone line inexplicably pulled out when she tried to call. Initially, she suspected her 2 young daughters were playing games. But just then, she saw the 2 girls running through the stairwell. She knew something was wrong. She cautiously flipped on the light in the storage room, but found nothing unusual. Meanwhile, the youngest daughter, April, was playing and discovered her favorite doll had vanished. She looked around, only to find the doll standing right in front of the antique mirror. But the weirdest part? The doll stood up by itself. The constant bizarre events made Carolyn increasingly hate the ominous mirror. She was convinced it was evil. Her eldest daughter reminded her that tomorrow was trash day. The sisters agreed. They had to get rid of it. That night, they secretly moved the mirror to the side of the road. This action, however, completely enraged the evil spirit trapped inside the glass. The next morning, the whole family was having breakfast. As the garbage truck crushed the mirror outside, the eldest daughter, Andrea, suddenly began violently retching at the table. Moments later, Christine pulled something out of her throat, a shard of the broken mirror. Terrified, the family thought she had tried to commit suicide and rushed her to the hospital. Only Andrea, who was stunned, knew the truth. This was the spirit's punishment for trying to throw it away. But no matter how she tried to explain it to her family, no one would believe it was the work of an evil spirit. Later that night, the father, Roger, was getting ready for bed. He noticed the bedroom door slowly creaking open. Confused, he reached for his glasses to see who was there, but as he looked back, at the very same time, Andrea went to the living room alone to find proof of the evil spirit. She checked the birthday video. As the footage played, she clearly saw a monstrous face right as the candle blew out. But before she could process the horror, a towering man with an axe suddenly emerged from the darkness, laughing and chasing her. Andrea's screams woke her mother, Carolyn. When she woke up, her husband, who had been pinned down by the ghost next to her, finally returned to normal. The whole family rushed downstairs to check. They only found Andrea curled up on the floor, repeatedly screaming that there's someone else in the house. The parents finally understood the gravity of the problem. But as a family of 8, they couldn't afford to move into a hotel. Since they couldn't leave, they decided to ask the media for help to pressure the church. They desperately needed an exorcist to be sent immediately. Sure enough, Father Gordon arrived a few days later. After hearing their story, Father Gordon searched the house. He found the holy water in the basement reacted violently. It was clear the evil spirit lurking here was extremely powerful. Realizing he was outmatched, Father Gordon immediately packed his things and rushed to the bishop for urgent help. What he didn't expect was that just a brief stay in the house was enough for the evil spirit to target him. While Father Gordon waited for the bishop, he suddenly had an inexplicable nosebleed. He turned around, and the room was silent. Even the secretary who had been sitting opposite him was gone. Clearly, something was terribly wrong. Just then, the phone in front of him rang. A familiar voice came through the receiver. "Judy, you can go now." As the voice faded, Father Gordon saw the doorknob on the bishop's office door begin to turn. A crucifix on the wall also flipped upside down. Realizing the danger, he turned to flee, but it was too late. Father Gordon quickly grabbed his exorcism stand and began to read from the Bible. But the demon before him was overwhelmingly powerful. Not only was it completely unfazed, but it also set the stand on fire, forcing Father Gordon to lose his faith in that moment. Moments later, Father Gordon walked out of the bishop's office, but he wrapped a wire around his own neck and ended his life without hesitation. Meanwhile, the Warren couple had long decided to retire. Their daughter, Judy, was about to get married. Right at this juncture, something evil seemed to be making its way to them. Judy was trying on her wedding dress that day. Surrounded by mirrors, Judy started to feel uneasy. She felt like eyes were staring at her. The next second, she saw a terrifying figure emerging from under the mirror. Luckily, Lorraine and the clerk heard her scream and arrived just in time. Everything returned to normal. But just as they arrived home, the news of Father Gordon's death followed. As his goddaughter, Judy mourned the priest's death. After the funeral, she checked the priest's possessions and found a clue. She approached the bishop who attended the service and asked about his final activities. She learned that before his death, Father Gordon had inexplicably traveled to a family in Pennsylvania. She immediately concluded that the priest's suicide had another, darker reason. The next day, Lorraine was in the kitchen, washing dishes and letting the water run. She noticed the drain was inexplicably clogged. Reaching into it, she found a necklace with a picture of Judy inside. As she looked into the sink, the water turned a blinding red. This was clearly a warning. Lorraine realized Judy might be in danger. The next second, there was a knock at the door. The Warrens opened the door. It was Judy's fiancé, Pete. It turned out Judy had learned about Father Gordon's trip to the Pennsylvania family before he died. To uncover the true cause of his death, she had gone there alone to investigate. The Warrens immediately rushed to Pennsylvania. They learned that the family had been tormented by evil spirits for months. A compassionate Judy wanted to stay and help them. However, the Warrens, having retired, were reluctant to get involved. But the family reminded them of their duty. The Warrens were compelled to help. Ed had to retrieve the exorcism props he carried with him and began to inspect the house. After some investigation, Lorraine saw 3 distinct spirits. They had once lived on this land. But after the husband discovered his wife's affair, he went mad and brutally attacked his wife and his mother with an axe. He then took his own life the same way. The Warrens had seen many brutal cases like this. But this time, Lorraine felt something was different. She sensed that these 3 spirits were just a distraction. There was something else behind them, preventing them from discovering the real truth. She couldn't understand why the devil would target such an ordinary family. What was its true goal? Just as the two were confused, Judy suddenly heard her mother's voice calling her from upstairs. She followed the sound and found it coming from the attic, so she unsuspectingly climbed up. The attic was completely dark. There was no one there, but Judy bravely looked around. She realized that in the corner stood an ancient mirror. It was the very same mirror the parents had tried to throw away. Looking into the mirror, it appeared normal, save for a crack. Judy breathed a sigh of relief. But then a piece of chalk suddenly fell to the floor. She looked up and froze. The sounds of the evil spirit kept coming from the attic. Judy quickly tried to escape the attic. But suddenly, a child's voice came from the next room. Judy thought one of the children was still there, so she opened the door to check. What greeted her was Annabelle. Judy backed away in terror and tumbled down the stairs. When she looked up at the second floor again, Annabelle was long gone. She had to tell her mother that something was waiting in the attic. The Warrens went up to look and were stunned. This mirror, it wasn't the first time they had encountered it. Back in 1964, they took on their first ever case. A girl from an antique store came to them for help, saying a mirror in the store was making strange noises. Lorraine, who was 8 months pregnant at the time, wanted to investigate. But the moment she touched the mirror, a powerful force instantly pushed her back. In that moment, she saw terrifying images of her unborn child. Then she was racked with unbearable abdominal pain. Ed rushed her forcefully to the hospital. However, the terrifying entity in the mirror seemed to have followed them. Lorraine called out to her husband, begging him to protect the child. After an agonizing struggle, the baby stopped breathing. The Warrens were devastated. Holding the child's lifeless body, they prayed, but a miracle happened. 1 minute later, the child miraculously survived. In the blink of an eye, over 20 years have passed. They never expected to see this antique mirror here again. Lorraine warned the owner of the house that the mirror in the attic concealed a powerful demon. Even during their first encounter, they deemed the risk too great and had chosen not to fight it again. The parents had also tried to throw the mirror away, but it nearly killed their eldest daughter. Therefore, the Warrens decided to transport the mirror to their artifact room. Only there could the demon inside the mirror be truly suppressed. After mapping out the route, Ed warned everyone to wear gloves and under no circumstances to look into the mirror. He and the male homeowner would work together to remove the mirror from the attic. Pete went downstairs early and drove the car to the front door. But things were not as simple as he'd hoped. As they began to move, the mirror grew heavier and heavier. The sealed demon struggled constantly, untying the locked belts and white cloth wrapped around it. The male homeowner accidentally glanced down and was instantly terrified by the devil's reflection. Suddenly disoriented, he tumbled violently down the attic stairs. The mirror lost control and fell, smashing hard onto the homeowner's feet. At the same time, Pete's situation was not optimistic either. He finally started the car when an old woman suddenly appeared in front of him. He violently slammed the steering wheel, crashing into a side fence. A flash of lightning illuminated the pitch-black scene. Lorraine discovered that her daughter, Judy, who had a high fever, had suddenly disappeared. After a moment, she found her huddled in the corner. But when Judy turned around, she was already possessed by the demon. "Mommy," the voice hissed, "we've been waiting so patiently for you to come back to us." Lorraine suddenly realized the demon's true purpose. It only wanted to get their attention and then seize Judy. But before she could react, the devil threw Lorraine down into the basement. Locked down there with her was the monstrous axe-wielding man who had been locked down here. At the same time, the devil targeted Ed again with a fatal blow to the heart. A single touch gave Ed a heart attack. Seeing both exorcists dying, the demon took Judy's body back to the attic. Pete, trapped outside, quickly came up with a plan. He entered the basement through the back door and successfully rescued Lorraine. Meanwhile, Ed finally managed to catch his breath. To save their daughter from the demon, Ed told his wife to bring the Bible. He prepared to confront the devil head-on. But as the three of them reached the attic, they saw the devil, controlling Judy's body, preparing to commit suicide. Lorraine almost collapsed. Ed and Pete struggled desperately to cut the rope Judy was using to hang herself. All three of them crashed through the fragile attic floor. Judy had no pulse. A desperate Ed performed CPR. Lorraine prayed fervently. It was just like 20 years ago, the night Judy was born. Fortunately, the miracle happened again. Judy soon woke up. But the moment she opened her eyes, she noticed the antique mirror was acting strangely, facing such a powerful demon. Ed's Bible was completely useless. The mirror finally stopped rotating. The next second, it slammed down and pinned Ed in the corridor, attacking him and the others with overwhelming force. Seeing this, Ed warned the others again. The demon in the mirror warned Ed to shut up, and then set the Bible in his hands on fire. Seeing this, Ed covered the burning Bible, which completely enraged the devil. It saw him holding the mirror and angrily slammed it down. This time, the mirror landed directly on Pete's neck. Judy, witnessing this, was almost desperate. In her fear, she began to sing a nursery rhyme from her childhood. Lorraine saw this and finally realized the problem. Maybe they shouldn't have run away from this demon in the first place. She hugged Judy tightly and told her not to be afraid. Encouraged by Lorraine, Judy stood with her parents, putting her hand against the mirror that was crushing Pete. You're not real. After one final struggle, the devil in the mirror was finally defeated by the three of them. Everything returned to peace. The mirror was brought back to the Warrens' artifact room for final containment. The exorcism case reached a happy conclusion. The screen then shifts. It's Judy's wedding day. The families the Warrens had previously helped were all there to celebrate. Thus, the Warrens had their happy ending, and the Conjuring series comes to a complete close. The film is slated for release in 2025, supervised by James Wan. The director of the third installment, Michael Chavs, continues to direct. This series is about the Warren couple, chronicling their story from their first acquaintance to old age. Personally, I think this installment's quality is already excellent. While there are minor plot issues, it's executed very well. It's innovative enough. For fans of this series, it shows that even in a horror movie, there is family, there is love, there is light, and there is a legacy. It truly lives up to the Conjuring series and the 12 years it has been with us. All right, that's all for today. I'm Popcorn, and I'll see you in the next video.